There she is. Okay, if I can have your attention for a minute. We're calling this emergency meeting of the Board of Phase 2 to consider a motion of impeachment of our president, Morty Seinfeld.
What does that mean?
It means if you're for the motion, you're against Morty.
So why don't you say that?
Hey, I'm running the meeting.
If you think so.
Building A.
Strata councils are an integral part of a well-run condo. In this episode, let's take a look at why I chose to sit on council and some of my personal observations. Welcome to the Condo Cafe. We brew steaming topics and fresh insights into condo living, condo purchasing and selling, and everything in between. Who says real estate is boring and complicated? Join us every Friday as we navigate the Richmond, BC world of condos. I've been fortunate to be able to live in a single-family detached home for many years. So when I bought into a condo, there were naturally some adjustments, like living in close proximity to neighbors. But the biggest adjustment for me was getting comfortable with how strata monies and strata fees were being spent. The crunch came when we had to cough up for a special levy to pay for balcony repairs. I didn't even have a balcony, but that's beside the point. I remember thinking, what? How much? How many quotes did we get? Are we getting fair market price? Things I would look at normally for myself if I were to undertake a project. When it felt like the answers were looking like or seemed like 1,000 miles away, I decided to make time to sit on council. That was 12 years ago. In that time, I observed strata managers are employees, and understandably, they have their own lives to live. I get that. Unless expectations and standards are set, do not expect too much from them unless we are prepared to push and be the bad guys. Strata managers are people, so council has to be respectful and be fair. But at the same time, strata managers are paid to do their job. When I first joined council, I mistakenly thought the strata managers had full authority and whatever they said was law. Of course, this is far from the truth, but that was the impression I got. Not only that, I also got the impression that the president made all the decisions. The other council members were just pawns and seat warmers. Again, that was junk. Here's what I learned when I did the Strata Management Supplemental Licensing course. The Strata Council is ultimately fully responsible for the proper running of the strata. The strata manager operates under the direction of the Strata Council and is hired to assist and provide guidance to the council. This guidance is usually very insightful. The council typically votes on matters requiring a decision, and the president gets to make the deciding vote. Strata management is a profession regulated by the province and falls under the jurisdiction of the BC Financial Services Authority. Strata managers can be great resources due to their wide experience and are required, amongst other things and responsibilities, to act in the best interest of their client, the strata that hired them. I've heard council members say, I leave everything to the strata manager. I trust them fully and will only get involved when something goes wrong. I'm curious, what do you think? In the ideal world, that's the way it should be. But do we live in the ideal world? Have we heard of strata fraud and council members collaborating with the strata manager to embezzle funds? Unfortunately, it happens. Councils are there for a reason, and it pays to be alert. Let's change gears a bit. I see two sides to the strata coin. On the one side, we have the financials, which we just touched on, and on the other, which is just as important, we have the interpersonal social side. Unlike living in a single-family, detached home, there's a greater need in a strata to learn to live and get along with each other. There are sacrifices, noisy neighbors, slamming doors, barking dogs, neighbors smoking marijuana. These may be all par for the course. How do we deal with this? The strata bylaws. Again, unlike living in a single-family detached home, we do not have the freedom to do as we please. There are strata bylaws and rules and regulations. We may not be able to move in with our beloved Bruno, a 125-pound Rottweiler, If we have allergies, we may not be able to change out the carpet for hardwood floors. We have to check the bylaws. Stratas have regulations, so it is critically important to understand the bylaws before purchasing. The bylaws are effectively the required standards agreed to by the majority of the owners in the building, and Strata Council has the unpopular responsibility of enforcing them. There are usually up to 7 positions on Strata Council. I've been thinking the ideal strata composition would be to have an accountant to verify the books, a building professional to provide insight into capital projects, especially if it's an old building, and an assertive human rights and interpersonal skills expert to help with social challenges that inevitably arise. That would be the ideal dream team. Council members, however, come in different flavors, different skill sets, different personalities, and different agendas. Some anal, others clueless, some bullies, others think they know everything. But generally, they are people with good intent. If you feel things in your strata need improving, it's generally up to you to initiate the improvement. If Kennedy lived in a condo, he might say,
"Ask not what your
Strata.
can do for you. Ask what you can do for your
Strata.
I hope you enjoyed this session. See you next week. Bye.